Hello, mate. Just a real quick loom to run through what I've pulled together for you. So basically, this is a bit more of a step beyond um, forecast, and I've got three different forecasts here based on various levels of ad spend. 2K, 3K, 5K. Obviously, they're not going to go for the 5K, but it's always good to just show that side of things as well. As I said over the WhatsApp, we would ideally want to be starting a budget with this because there's a few things to bear in mind with Google is if you've got a fresh account, Google wants to see you spending. They're not necessarily going to be amazing for you when you first start an account unless you start spending and start gathering data and they know that you're a serious advertiser basically. We've worked with like small budgets from like 300 to 1,000 before, and like to be honest, it's a lot slower and it's probably negative ROI at that point. But yeah, so now that I've covered off the ad spend, I've gone through and I've had a look at the CPCs. So these CPCs are pulled from an average of all of these across the various different countries and pulled together an average. It's going to be in and around that to begin with, but then as we go through the campaigns, this would reduce to probably around, I'd say, industry standard, about 250 max, 250 maximum. So these are just baseline metrics at the moment. I've also put a 5% conversion rate on the website. Obviously, we'd be aiming for higher than that. So out of everybody that comes onto the site, 5% are going to jump on a call. 20% of those are going to be qualified. Qualified and closed, and then the average deal size per invoice is 3,000. So you can sort of see like the revenue added. This isn't LTV because I know there's going to be a lot more than 3K. There's going to be more than one invoice being processed per client. But this is just the cost of getting the sort of return of one customer doing one invoice essentially at various different spend levels. I would be expecting around this level of clicks for this amount of spend, to be honest. It's 400 clicks. This is probably a lot more accurate in terms of sort of volume that we should expect to see. Then it's also worth just bringing this up to them. I can send this through to you, but essentially what we want to make them aware of as well, and every customer that you could potentially be working with, is Google's great for getting leads and converting them straight away. That's amazing. But then also you're collecting a lot of data, which is then passed into, let's call it, the client ecosystem. And this is collected even when they purchase. So you've got their information that they've purchased, their G-Click information, brilliant. You've also got it if they drop off. So what that does is we've got all of this information now. What do we do with it? We're leaving serious money on the table if we're not remarketing to those audiences that haven't converted at the first glance of our website. If you think about the user journey, sometimes it could take up to 20 clicks until somebody actually makes a decision to hop on a call and have a conversation with somebody, right? They're going to be having a look at competitors, alternatives. So then it's our job to make sure that we're front and center. So when they do come to make that decision, they're going to think, oh, so this is what we want to do. So we want to convince the audience to purchase in the case that the prospect drops off, or we want to try and upsell them potentially. So we could have a pool of 1,000 people who processed invoices. We can then constantly be running just say like a $5 campaign just to make sure that we're constantly front and center for them, whether that's through a YouTube video, whether that's through a display ad or remarketing list search ad. One thing as well, we're not experts in the Facebook side of things, so I don't want to promise anything on that. However, we're looking at sort of implementing Facebook remarketing across a few clients at the moment. Small budgets, but then it just achieves that omnipresence. So if you think about it here, then somebody's going to land on, they're like, okay, this company looks great. Life gets in the way. They forget about it. But we're then the next time they go onto YouTube to listen to their favorite song, we're there in front of them. Oh, they go on Facebook or Instagram, we're there in front of them. They're reading the news articles, we're there in front of them via a display ad. So then it's going to be like, oh shit, I need to go to, or I need to redo my research. I need to get back into this system. I need to get this sorted. And then the prospect ultimately converts. I would say 90% of advertisers aren't doing this. So they're not leveraging the customer information that they've got, leaving serious money on the table. this isn't something that we would run straight away, by the way, mate. Please make that clear to them. We need an audience size of at least 1,000 visitors to the website to actually run a remarketing campaign. That usually would take 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, dependent on the amount of clicks through to the website. But yeah, I thought this would be important to share with them. I'll send you through both of these now. But yeah, please give me a shout if you need anything regarding the forecast. Feel free to fuck about with the numbers if you need to and change anything. This sheet is yours, but at least here we can sort of see some tangible value. It's also worth noting to them that they're probably not going to get 20 leads in their first month. To be honest, especially if they're a new account, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. But then if you have a think, what we'll then need to do together is do something what we call a payback calculator. So in terms of what they're investing, when they would expect the payback, and that's based on deal size, sales cycle length, and all of that good stuff, returning customers. And then as long as we can sort of show them visibly, okay, this is your payback period. You just weather the storm at the beginning, but you will get to this point where you're just creaming it. Another thing as well, sorry, I'm just trying to give you as much information here to help you out. There's this thing called offline conversions, which we're going to need to set up for them. So basically, not all lead is good, right? Not all leads are good, right? So you can have 20 leads. Out of those 20 leads, 5 are absolutely terrible, 5 are not bad, 5 are incredible leads, and 5 close. So what we want to be doing is pulling this information from a database, G-Click information. We can then segment that out into a spreadsheet. So we can have all the G-Click IDs. We can have qualified, deal closed, for example, and then we just add the values next to it. We feed that back into Google, and then over time, we're feeding Google more data, right? This is what our ideal customer looks like. These are the behaviors of someone that's going to give us money. This is essentially who we want to target. So then with time, you're going to get even more qualified leads. You're going to get even more deals through. You're going to get lower CPAs, and it's going to just increase the volume all round. So again, I think probably considering you'll be working for a lot of startups, the payback calculator will be very important. But this should be enough to sort of provide them a bit of an insight. But yeah, I'd say a couple of key points to raise with them. That it's not overnight. We need to emphasize around the remarketing ecosystem, and then also the payback period, because we see a lot of good startups sort of get disgruntled with Google Ads because they're not seeing immediate results. And they're chipping away at it, and they just give up at the wrong time. If you just be consistent, you've got the right people looking after the account, you're feeding it the right data, it's a fucking goldmine. But yeah, let me know if you need anything else, mate.